We're now just going to have a basic look at Adobe Bridge. Top left hand corner of Adobe Bridge allows you to browse to look at folders. So you can use your favorites or you can browse via the folders. If you've got a folder you're going to return to quite often, I suggest you make it a favorite. And the way you do that is you select the folder and you can drag it towards. Now just make sure you don't drag it into an item, you want to drag it to become part of the favorites. So I click on my example folder now, I've got a whole range of photos inside here. This section here is called your content section, and you can see that it gives me a nice little thumbnail of the pictures that I have inside my folder. The great thing about selecting a picture in Bridge is once you select it, you get a preview, and if you go over to that preview, you can actually zoom in on that by just holding your mouse down and having a look at different areas of the picture. The other thing you have is your metadata. So your metadata basically is the information that makes up the file, and specifically in Bridge your metadata has a whole lot of information about your camera settings when you took your picture. So if I click on a few of these, you'll see that it tells you a little bit of information about the camera settings that were happening when this photograph was taken. And this is really handy if you're doing photography, because this is information that your photography teacher would really like to know about how you took the file and what settings you had. It's also interesting for you as well. The other interesting thing is under keywords, you can actually assign certain keywords to images. So for example, if I click this picture of a birthday cake, I can say under events that was related to a birthday. If I click this picture here, I could say, well, that is actually a wedding cake. Other things I can do is say choose my picture of the Opera House and say that's part of Sydney, but you can see places, Sydney is not an option. So if I click on places, and I'm just going to move this over a little and click on the right contextual menu here and ask for new keyword, I can actually add Sydney into this keyword set. And so that means that I can now say, well, yes, that belongs to Sydney. Other things I can do is add in a completely new keyword set. So I can go to the same place I just went a moment ago and say new keyword set. And I might add in the keyword set of food. This is a keyword set, so it means that I can't just assign a keyword set to a picture, I can only assign keywords. So I'm going to now add in some keywords. So I'll put in lollies and So there's one thing that often happens is if you don't have a keyword set actively selected, when you add in a keyword it will default into a keyword set called other. So if you want to keep things grouped, make sure you have your keyword set selected before you add in a keyword. Cakes, and I'll just add one more in. Again, I've done that again. Drinks. So that means that I can now click on the two cakes and say, well, you're actually also related to a cake category. So one's related to a birthday category, one's related to a wedding, but one is also related to a cake category. I can click on the lollies and say, well, you're a lolly and you're a drink. And I can do that for all of my pictures, and I can assign multiple keywords as well. So for example, this picture of this coffee was taken in New York, so I can click on New York. So it has drink and New York. So that means on the left side here, it's all about being able to filter. So that means on the left side here, I can say, well, show me all the birthday keyword, all the pictures related to birthdays. Show me all the pictures related to lollies, and you can see that it's showing me all the pictures related to birthdays and all the pictures related to lollies. Show me all the pictures related to New York. Show me all the pictures related to Sydney. So if I wanted Sydney and weddings or something like that, I just have to keep selecting my keywords. And this is what the great filter system is about. I can also filter by date created, and I can also do by date modified, and so forth. So tick that one, and get date modified. You can have a look at just the landscape pictures or just the portrait pictures. So it allows you to filter your information or your pictures for quicker and easier access. And the last few things that we have is down the bottom here we have a slider which will make your thumbnails even bigger. The other thing we have is you can manipulate the interface from default to a horizontal slide, to the third one, which is a meta focus slide or meta focus view, which basically shows you a thumb and all the metadata. If I go back to the default, you can also manipulate this as well. If you wanted a larger picture of your thumb, you can do that. So you have complete control. If you've got a picture in that is the wrong way, you can use the rotate system up the top here to rotate it around. You can trash pictures as well. You can make new folders. You can also make Bridge a lot smaller by clicking on this little switch to compact mode, which I'll let you do yourselves.